She's been a patron and visionary in the world of arts her entire life. And now she's founded one of Mumbai's newest cultural destinations. One of India's top business leaders, Nita Mukesh Ambani, sits down with me for the CNBC conversation. Hello and welcome to the CNBC conversation. I'm Tanvir Gill, coming to you from Mumbai in India. I'm standing inside the Nita Mukesh Ambani Cultural Center, and I'm here to meet the business leader who started it all. Nita Mukesh Ambani is often described as one of the most influential and prominent women in India. She's part of the Ambani family, married to Mukesh Ambani, Chairman and Managing Director of Reliance Industries, the multinational conglomerate that has businesses across many sectors, from energy and petrochemicals to telecommunications. They even own the media company Network 18, parent company of CNBC TV 18 in India. Reliance is India's most valuable company, and Mukesh Ambani is the richest person in Asia as of 2023. The couple have been married for nearly 4 decades, and up until August 2023, Nita Ambani sat on the board of Reliance Industries. She stepped down to focus on her role as founder chairperson of the Reliance Foundation, a non-profit organization with a mission to have a positive impact on society. She weaves philanthropy into her other passions as well, including arts and sports. She co-owns the Mumbai Indians, one of the most successful cricket teams in the Indian Premier League. And as for the arts, she's an honorary trustee of the Metropolitan Museum of Art in New York. Nita Ambani is a professional dancer by training. So when the Nita Mukesh Ambani Cultural Center in Mumbai opened its doors in a star-studded event, she took to the stage to give a performance to the Hindu devotional song popularized by the late Mahatma Gandhi, Raghupati Raghav Raja Ram. In her first sit-down interview with a major TV network in 15 years, I met Nita Mukesh Ambani at the new Cultural Center. Mrs. Ambani, wonderful to have you on the CNBC conversation. Thank you very much for joining us.
I'm pretty excited and lovely meeting you, Tanvir.
Mrs. Ambani, we're finally at the NMACC in the Grand Theatre with this stunning backdrop. So it's only right for me to start by asking you, how and when did you get the idea of setting up this cultural center?
Actually, the seeds for the cultural center probably was sown when I was a young girl. I was 6 when I started learning Bharatnatyam. It's a classical Indian dance form. And you know, when you graduate from learning Bharatnatyam, you go on stage for the first time. It's called the Arangetram. And my father was looking at places to kind of see where I could perform. At that time, there were not so many facilities or platforms for emerging or amateur artists.
Right.
So my father couldn't afford a theatre. So I finally did Arangetram in a temple in Mumbai.
Really? Wow.
So I think the Nita Mukesh Ambani Cultural Center is actually a dedication to all amateur, emerging artists. I visited Australia for the Cricket World Cup. And we as tourists went to see the Sydney Opera House.
Right.
And at that time I thought, why can't India have something like this of its own? So the idea really sparked off at that time in Australia.
In Australia.
Yeah, and it's taken us now a decade to bring this to life.
What was the greatest challenge that you faced in setting up this facility?
The pandemic. I think world came to a standstill. All our priorities changed. All our resources and energy went after supporting and looking after our people in India. Travel was so restricted. All our loans were extended because we were getting 154 costumes from, I think, 10 museums across the world. So everything changed. In fact, I had so many online meetings and my daughter Isha was expecting at that time. And I told her, Isha, I think the first words your children are going to say is NMACC.
That's so sweet.
Yeah.
When I entered the premises, when I entered the building, I also saw the Swadesh exhibition. Swadesh meaning one's own country. And it was really heartwarming to see the handloom artisans weaving their magic. And so I want to ask you about what's your objective behind this initiative and how far do you want to take it?
Swadesh is really a heartwarming experience. It was set up again to show our appreciation to our age-old arts and crafts. We are so blessed to have this heritage and legacy. In 2015, I went to Nathdwara, that is our temple town in Rajasthan, and there they practice the age-old Pichwai art. You know, it's one of the oldest living art forms in the world. And as I was speaking to the artisans, I realized that there's no way of sustenance for them. Many of them have left their, they learnt this art at the feet of the grandfather or great-grandfather. But they're now becoming sewage cleaners, bricklayers. And that's where Reliance Foundation stepped in. And then, of course, now, the world is waking up to the art of Pichwai. So I think it is a wonderful art form. During COVID, we took up Paithani weavers who work in Maharashtra. And throughout 3 years, they weaved more than 1,000 saris for us for Diwali gifting. And they were so happy because they said we didn't realize what happened outside our little village. So I think that was where I thought Swadesh should get the global recognition that the artisans so deserve. We are planning to take Swadesh globally. Also, we are setting up digital skilling platforms for these artisans to enable them for the sustenance and livelihood.
I also want to talk about, of course, we are right now in the Grand Theatre, and this is as grand as it gets, Mrs. Ambani. But there are two other smaller theatres as well in the facility, the Studio Theatre as well as the Cube. What plans do you have for them?
They actually are the soul of the NMACC. They are small, intimate, flexible places, but they have cutting-edge technology. They have probably the best sound and the light possible to have in small theatres. It's a very immersive experience when you're there, both for the audience and for the artist. And it's wonderful to experience all the new amateur artists performing at the Cube or the studio. And I've enjoyed watching folk music from Rajasthan, from Gujarat, classical music, Carnatic music over there. It makes me kind of so joyous.
You're coming alive as you're talking about it.
Yeah.
You're glowing as you're talking about it.
So I think those are really wonderful small theatres for the young emerging artists and also for established artists. They all love performing at the studio.
Still ahead, Nita Mukesh Ambani on her visit to the White House.
Oh, the excitement was palpable. The Indian diaspora, just like you, are doing such wonderful things. They're conquering the world. I get goosebumps even thinking about it now.
And India's bid to host the Olympic Games.
We are absolutely ready. Just like we would love to have Olympics in India, Olympics also cannot ignore the 1.4 billion people of India.
The Reliance Foundation was founded in 2010 as a philanthropic arm of Reliance Industries. As founding chairperson, Nita Mukesh Ambani leads the organization's initiatives that support a wide range of causes including rural transformation, female empowerment and disaster management. During the pandemic, the foundation provided millions of free meals to lower-income communities across India and built the country's first ever COVID-19 health center in the Seven Hills Hospital in Mumbai. The Ambanis also believe health and empowerment come via sports. Nita and Mukesh Ambani founded the cricket team, the Mumbai Indians, with Nita Ambani taking on a management role that oversees both the men and women's teams. Most recently, the women's team won the 2023 inaugural Women's Premier League. Mrs. Ambani, the Reliance Foundation over the years has invested in many causes, education, child welfare, women's empowerment, gender equality. And so I want to understand from you, which cause is closest to your heart and why?
You know, that's a difficult question, Tanvir. Reliance Foundation has reached out to 70 million people in India, and it's present in all the states of India. For me, I think a nation's development depends on women empowerment and the well-being of its children and the transformation through sports. I think these three are key to a developed nation. With the Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation, we are offering employment to 1 million women to ensure that they get an income of 1 lakh or more. So I think women's empowerment is something very, very dear to my heart.
Yeah, and you're investing a lot of time, effort and energy when it comes to building women in sports. About time, you think, that people started taking women's sports seriously?
Absolutely. The story of women in sport is a story of triumph. You know, level playing fields on the playground is so important. You know, we invested in the women's cricket team and we won the championship. And through my girls in cricket, I've learned of the challenges that all the girls face in sport, and in spite of that, Indian girls have done so well on global platform. So it's a story of the unstoppable girls of India.
I do want to talk about Mumbai Indians. It's been a glorious run for the franchise. They've done so well for you. So how do you look back at the journey with Mumbai Indians? Because you literally built this team from scratch and have brought it to this level.
It's a long story. But in short, I took up the management of Mumbai Indians in the year 3, when I was all of 44 years old, when most sports people retire. And, you know, those were times that I was learning to kind of know what this game is. And I had my mentors trying to teach me the nuances of cricket. And today it's a different story, you know, I can make out pace bowling, spin bowling, wrist spin, leg spin.
You know the lingo.
I know the lingo. Whereas when I started, I probably couldn't even differentiate between a spin bowler and a pace bowler. So it has been a wonderful journey of spreading joy and positivity to millions of people who enjoy cricket and watch Mumbai Indians.
What is your own outlook on India's sports infrastructure and how ready is India to host the Olympics?
We are absolutely ready. People are waking up to the potential of India. And I think just like we would love to have Olympics in India, Olympics also cannot ignore the 1.4 billion people of India. So it's a win-win for both. I hope in the near future, the youth of our country would be able to say proudly that, you know, we are hosting the Olympics in India.
So how high is the chance, how high is the probability that India would get onto the rota of hosting the 2036 Olympics?
I am strongly rooting for it. So I'm very optimistic. By nature, I'm an optimistic person. So I'm waiting for the day and hopefully I'll see it in this lifetime.
You were recently at the White House for the state dinner that was hosted for Prime Minister Modi by President Biden. Allow us to be a fly on the wall and tell us what was the mood like on India, because there were some of the brightest minds in the world in that room.
Oh, it was, the excitement was palpable. The Indian diaspora, just like you, are doing such wonderful things. I mean, NASA, media, science, technology, they're conquering the world. And you could see that, you could feel that in the room. I get goosebumps even thinking about it now. And so much enthusiasm in the diaspora around the world. They're so proud to say we are Indians, and that's something that touches your heart.
Up next, Nita Mukesh Ambani speaks about her husband, Mukesh Ambani, the chairman and managing director of Reliance Industries.
I tell my children all the time that the single most important decision you make in your life is choosing the right life partner. And I am so blessed to have Mukesh, who is my best friend and my life partner.
Dance has always been important to Nita Ambani. In fact, it led her to her husband Mukesh Ambani when his parents attended a dance function and then sought her alliance for their son. The couple married in 1985 and now are the heads of one of the wealthiest and most influential families in the world. Looking beyond the glitz and glamour and all the boardroom action, I speak with Nita Mukesh Ambani about her personal growth and leadership journey. Mrs. Ambani, you have been a professional dancer for nearly 5 decades. What has dance taught you about leadership?
First and foremost, I think dance is a form of devotion for me. It's my meditation, my time with divinity. And I think I'm truly blessed that I could follow my passion for the last 50 years. And I still feel the same excitement that I did when I was a young girl, waiting backstage for my chance to come on stage. I think dance teaches you so much about leadership. I think it teaches us compassion, it teaches us instinct, discipline, dedication, patience. And also I think dance has years of wisdom. So it's taught me so many lessons and I'm still learning.
Mrs. Ambani, 40 out of those 50 years were very special for you because obviously you had an incredible personal and professional journey with your husband, Mr. Mukesh Ambani, who's the chairman and managing director of Reliance Industries. What have each of you taught the other about leadership?
You know, I tell my children all the time that the single most important decision you make in your life is choosing the right life partner. And I am so blessed to have Mukesh, who is my best friend and my life partner. We have learned so much from each other. Mukesh, as I say, has the floodlights in life. He thinks far ahead of his times. While I get into the meticulous details, he calls it the spotlights.
That's wonderful, okay.
And you know, we've enjoyed the journey of life, raising our children and now our grandchildren. I think both of us want to do the best, not only for our family and the Reliance family, but for the people of India.
I want to extend that point a little bit further, Mrs. Ambani, because it also holds true for your family. You know, on the outside, the perception is largely driven by the wealth, the fame, the power, but you're on the inside. You live it every day. And so I want to ask you, what's that something that you wish people knew about your family?
That we still very imbibed in Indian culture and traditions. We live in a joint family, so I have my mother-in-law, my mother, my sister, my children, their wives and their children all living under one roof. And Isha calls it community living.
That's really sweet.
Mukesh and me still love doing the same things that we used to when we were young. So he takes me for a drive. We love listening to Hindi music, eating street food. I love my bhel on the A road. And he loves his dosa and idli. So we still love doing what we used to love doing. So these are the values that we kind of really live every day, of loving our family, respecting our elders, being honest, humble. I think not much has changed.
You're one of the top business leaders of the country, Mrs. Ambani, of India. Your daughter Isha Ambani is also a young business leader who's coming into her own. And so this is a very important question for you. What must be done to cultivate more women leaders at the top? And how can we improve more female representation in boardrooms?
I think that's a very important question, Tanvir. I think I'm very, very proud of what Isha is doing. She's a young mother of twins now, yet she was hands-on for the launch of NMACC, and now she's leading our retail. But I think for girls to learn that they are equal, they have to see it at their homes. They have to have mentors at home to know that they're not anything less than boys. I have never differentiated between Isha, Akash and Anant. Whatever my boys could do, my daughter could do too. So level playing fields for all our girls. All our young girls are breaking, shattering glass ceilings. So give them the opportunity and they will shine. I think and there's so many things in the corporate world like equal pay that I think is a necessity again that we need to implement.
Yeah, Mrs. Ambani. Speaking of boardrooms, you recently stepped down from the board of Reliance Industries, and there's been a lot of talk doing the rounds about succession planning at the group. What are your expectations from the next generation of leaders at Reliance, your children and grandchildren? What kind of leaders do you want them to be?
I think Akash, Isha and Anant and a whole lot of the young generation is going to be the next leadership for Reliance and for India. In all three of them, I see different qualities. In Anant, my youngest, I see him as a compassionate young man who believes in conservation, who believes in making the world a better place. Akash is leading the digital revolution through Gill, and Isha is leading retail besides taking active interest in Reliance Foundation. All three of them are very, very committed to working in Reliance. They have their own strengths, and I always tell them that concentrate on your strengths and make that stronger. Everybody has strengths and weaknesses. Nobody is born perfect or nobody can be perfect. And it's okay to make mistakes. You learn much more from your mistakes than you do from your successes. Be humble, be compassionate, treat people with respect, and I'm very happy for the new young generation that is growing at Reliance.
Mrs. Ambani, as we wrap up this conversation, have to wrap up with the last classic question, which is what does Mrs. Nita Mukesh Ambani, the person, forget the titles, forget the externalities, what does Nita Mukesh Ambani, the person, want her legacy to be?
You know, through all the work that I've done, what I've enjoyed the most is setting up institutions. The Dhirubhai Ambani International School, the Reliance Foundation Hospital, Mumbai Indians, now NMACC. So I think the legacy should be of creating institutions where we nurture our youths and we joyously impart knowledge and we celebrate diversity and our roots, and to leave the world as a better and a happier place.
Mrs. Ambani, thank you very much for sitting down for the CNBC conversation. We really appreciate your time.
Thank you so much.
That's all that we have for you on this edition of the CNBC Conversation. For more, head to our website, cnbc.com. For now, I'm Tanvir Gill signing off. Thanks very much for watching.